Hey y'all, Tom, ND3N here, and thanks for dropping into my radio room for a Ham Shack chat. This time we're going to take a look at some ham radio history and a few famous, or in some cases, infamous hams. When I first started doing these videos, my XYL, Tammy, K3TAM, suggested doing a famous hams video. And after a couple of years, I'm finally following her suggestion, which I suppose is probably typical for married couples. Hi. Some gain their fame from scientific discoveries, some from stage and screen, a few musicians and politicians, and a couple just because of an accident of birth. I'm sure there are a lot more famous hams than I'm going to show. And in fact, in my research, I came up with lists containing hundreds. But I didn't want a video that, truthfully, could have been several hours long. If I missed one of your favorites, please leave a note down in the comments.
Any questions, comments, snide remarks? No? Good.
Gene Shepard, K2ORS. He's the author of In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, and A Christmas Story. By the way, he also narrated the movie made from the latter. Chet Atkins, W4CGP, was a singer-songwriter and one of my favorite guitarists. If you get a chance, listen to the album Chester and Lester, which he recorded with Les Paul. Ronnie Millsap, WB4KCG. He's a Grammy-winning singer and pianist with a fascinating background story that I encourage you to go look up for yourself. Priscilla Presley, N6YOS, actress and wife of Elvis. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, please pop that thumbs up icon and give me a like.
You like me. You really like me.
We continue on with Donny Osmond, KA7EVD, singer with just a little bit of rock and roll. Barry Goldwater, K7UGA. He's a U.S. Senator from Arizona and the 1964 presidential candidate from the Republican Party. He lost to Lyndon Baines Johnson. Juan Carlos, EA0JC, the King of Spain, and the founder of the King of Spain Ham Radio Contest. Yuri Gagarin, UA1LO. He's a cosmonaut and hero of the Soviet Union and the first man to orbit the Earth in space, which was one of the main factors in the USSR-USA space race. Burl Ives, KA6HVA, singer and actor, and with a lot of roles under his belt. But in my mind, his most famous role was as the snowman in the Christmas classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And here's two for one. King Hussein of Jordan, JY1, and his XYL, Queen Noor, JY2. The King was a very active ham, and I actually had the privilege of working him many, many years ago. Arthur Godfrey, K4LIB, radio and TV broadcaster and entertainer. Joseph Taylor, K1JT, not only the inventor of the WSJTX suite of digital modes, which many of us are familiar with, but the 1993 winner of the Nobel Prize in Physics. Robert Moog, K2AMH, the inventor of the Moog synthesizer. I can't imagine what today's music would be like without a synthesizer riff. Imagine Yes without Rick Wakeman. Stu Cook, N6FUP, bass player for Creedence Clearwater Revival. Dick Rutan, KB6LQS, pilot of the Voyager airplane developed by his brother Bert that completed the first round-the-world unrefueled flight. I was there to witness his landing on that day. Joe Walsh, WB6ACU, singer and guitarist. In addition to his solo career, he was a founding member of the Eagles and also played with the James Gang and Ringo Starr and his all-star band, amongst several others. If you happened to attend one of his concerts and tossed a QSL card onto the stage, he would gather them all up and send you a reply eyeball QSO card. Jim Croce, WN3OQW, one of my all-time favorites. He unfortunately died in a plane crash in 1973. All of his songs are on my playlist. Please help me get the word out about this and other more serious videos by sharing
Tell everybody they can believe it.
them with your friends and cohorts in the ham radio community, especially on social media. A few more and we'll be done with the list. Starting with Art Bell, W6OBB. He was a syndicated radio personality and someone who helped me with late night drives home after working the graveyard shift. Walter Cronkite, KB2GSD, newscaster and once known as the most trusted man in America. Or should that be the most trusted ham in America? Larry Junstrom, K4EB. He was the bass player for 38 Special and a founding member of Leonard Skinner. Paul Tibbets, K4ZVZ. He was a World War II pilot of the Enola Gay, which dropped the first atomic bomb on Japan. Peggy Sue Guerin, K5CSG. Well, she was the subject of Buddy Holly's hit song, Peggy Sue. General Curtis LeMay, W6EZV. He was a World War II leader and the 1968 vice presidential candidate for the American Independent Party with George Wallace. Gary Shandling, KD6OY. He was an actor and a comedian. Art Collins, W0CXX, was the founder of Collins Radio and developer of many of the things that we take for granted today. My very first rig was a Collins KWM2A that I wish I had kept. Tim Allen, KK6OTD, actor, comedian, and though he didn't start as a ham, his portrayal of ham radio in his show, Last Man Standing, has probably introduced and influenced more hams than I and all of the other ham radio YouTube creators combined.
No, never give up, never surrender.
And that's my truncated list of famous hams. Of course, each of us is famous in our own minds. 73 until the next Hey Y'all, and thanks for dropping into my radio room for a Ham Shack chat. I'm Tom, ND3N, and I am out.
I didn't know that.